Hey, you were so excited, aren't you? He's so excited. Did you take a shot?
Are we saying it?
We can always cut the first part. We can always say, yeah, cut this, whatever.
We're never going to get through this. So what am I supposed to say? Okay, I got to stop laughing first.
Welcome, listeners and viewers, to Mom and Son Unplugged. We are on episode 21. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by and joining us and listening to our podcast. We really appreciate our listeners and those who share it with their friends, family, and those who feel that they could benefit from our conversations. And if this is your first time coming by, I am Melissa. I am the mom part of the podcast.
And I am Damonte, the son part of the podcast.
All right. So in today's episode, we are going to be discussing navigating career transitions with confidence and professionalism. And the reason why we're talking about this today is one of the main reasons why we wanted to start this podcast is I feel Damonte is very smart. The way he has navigated through high school, through college, and through his career transitions that he has experienced, I feel that he has really navigated this path for himself to be able to mentor young men and women. So today I wanted to have the conversation with him and for our viewers about how he has gone through the career transitions and how he can help others navigate that process. But before we get started into our episode, we'd like to do a little catch up, what we both have been up to for like the past couple weeks. So first off, I want to say that Damonte hit a huge milestone. He turned 25 on July 16th. So happy birthday, Damonte.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you feel about turning 25. Do you have any goals for yourself or anything new that you're looking forward to now that you've turned 25? And then just catch us up on what you've been up to.
25 feels normal. Doesn't feel any different. No specific goals for myself, but in terms of catching up, last week, my dad and I were on a cruise for my birthday. So that was a lot of fun. Went to Coco Cay, San Juan, and St. Martin. So it was cool. And then on the way back, I got to see my mom. She visited us in Orlando. So that was a lot of fun. And then the big thing that I think is prompting this episode is I got a new job.
Yay! That was the big news that we said that we wanted to wait on. So yeah. So congratulations to Damonte. Do you
Thank
want to
you.
say who you got the position with? Because I think it's a huge deal. But
I got a job with Boeing. So pretty exciting. I'll start that in a couple weeks. But yeah, I was waiting to say until it was for sure. So yeah, it's official now.
nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very exciting. Some big things happening.
What about you?
Me, I really haven't been up to too much. I started a run club, I guess. Well, the guy that started it up, he was like, I don't really want to call this a run club. It's more like a run social event to where everybody comes together Sunday mornings at 5:30 in the morning. We do a 5K and it's an opportunity to talk with other people and make new friends and get some exercise in. So that is really all that I have been up to. I haven't been doing too much. That is it. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get into this awesome episode with Damonte talking to us about his career transition, how he went through the interview process, and hopefully our listeners can really gain some great insight because I really feel Damonte handled the interview probably way better than I have ever done an interview in my entire life. And also the other pieces of the puzzle that come along with transitioning to a new career or a new job. So, Damonte, do you want to just kind of introduce your experience a little bit? Have you ever mentored any young men and women, like either in college or even those at your job, about their careers and transitioning and how all that works?
Yeah, not so much like younger men and women, like not no one younger than me, but there are some peers at work who I mentored who are around my age, and then some people that were a little bit older than me. Um, when it comes to mentoring them, I think a lot of people I've noticed frequently is a lot of people that there's people that want to grow, but they don't really know what that means and how to make work effective for them. A lot of people just work and do the daily tasks that are asked of them, and they don't really think about what what the outcome of that task is. So something that I try and tell people, I think someone told this to me at one point, but you should be thinking about how your day at work is going to grow your resume or become a bullet point on your resume. So that is like a basis of when I would have one-on-ones with these people. Um, I would say, what are your resume points that we're going to be working towards? Because there's a lot of people who want more, but they don't know how to get more. So structuring it that way has helped a lot of people realize how to make their days more effective instead of every day being the same.
Awesome. That's a great point to make, because whenever I've sat down with my leadership, when we have gone over like our annual assessments, annual reviews, our conversations on what we have done for the year and what we plan on doing, what our goals are for the next year. What you just said has never been a part of the conversation as far as making sure that we're working on specific things to grow ourselves specifically for our resume. So that's a great point. Um, all right. So now that we're getting into the episode a little bit more, so preparing for an interview, what is the biggest mistake do you see that someone can possibly make before an interview happens?
I think a lot of people don't realize that the job that they're applying for typically will entail things that aren't in the job description. Um, I feel like I hear a lot of people say, I don't get paid to do that. And I think that comes to a point. But I think if you're in like a growing stage in your career, sometimes you will just do things that aren't in your job description. Um, a lot of good advice that I got that I feel like is things that everyone should know, but they don't know, is researching the company, um, dressing appropriately, being early. I think those are all little things that will compound to each other to the interviewer to show good traits about yourself.
Oh, okay. So when you've done this, do you feel like this really gained your confidence before going into the interview? Were there still a little bit of nerves inside, feeling that maybe you weren't fully prepared, or doing all of these things, you felt pretty confident, like you were ready to knock this interview out of the park?
I think the biggest thing that I feel like helps me is being early above everything else. I haven't done many interviews, truthfully. I think I've done 4 or 5 interviews ever. Like 1 being my internship, 3 coming out of college, and then the 1 for Boeing. And I think understanding the company helps a lot. Um, you don't want to work somewhere where you're not really interested in what you're doing.
Right.
But yeah, I think being early helps, and then preparing and looking up questions like what to expect. That's what I did a lot most recently, like what to expect. And
Okay.
then I didn't get asked any of the questions, but it still gave me like ideas to think about and concepts to try to relate the questions to. So that helped a lot. Um, I think the biggest thing, and then my mom and I were talking about it while this was happening, but asking good questions, I think, is a really big thing that can help you stand out because
Right.
everyone's getting asked the same questions, but as an interviewee, not every interviewee is asking the same questions back. Um,
Right.
I think another thing of advice that I tell people is, and people say it a lot, is an interview is a two-way street. Um, you're being interviewed and you're also interviewing the company. If it's
Right.
not a good fit for you, then you can find out that that's not something that you want to do.
Right. It's equally important for the company to find out if you're a good fit for the company, but it's also just as important to make sure that that company is right for you. You want to make sure that your vision, your goals align with what the company has as well. So that's a very good point. Awesome.
Um,
So, oh, go ahead.
wait, you might have to cut this part. Were you going to ask the personal mentoring thing?
What part is that on? Because
Bottom,
we were
bottom
just
of
doing
segment
like
one,
segment one.
the bottom of it. Share a success story of someone.
Well, I kind of turned it into when I asked you, like, did you feel if you were more confident?
Well, I
I
thought
kind
this
of
was on,
switched it around.
I thought, okay. Do you want to ask that?
Well, do you have an example?
Yeah.
Well, you do. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you would have an example. All right. So, can you share a success? Oh my God. I cannot say that word.
Just be like, has there been a time where you mentored someone, uh, and they gained confidence?
Okay. So, was there a time that you mentored someone and they gained confidence through their preparation and through your assistance?
I do. Uh, one of one of the leads that I mentored at my previous job, they had applied for my position um, a couple times in the past, and they didn't get it. And I had worked with them a little bit, and then my position came open again, just on a different shift. And it was a peer, someone my age, but they reported to me, and I was preparing them for the interview, and I was telling them like what I said at the beginning. Everything you've done so far, you need to put in bullet points that show like growth and change through you. Um, and then a tip of advice that I always give people interviewing is no one, the interviewer doesn't know as much as you know about your own experience. Like you're the most knowledgeable person about yourself. So I try and tell people that to encourage them to be more confident and in themselves while they're interviewing.
That's a great point to make.
And my manager is obviously the one interviewing for this position. And though the person didn't get the job, my manager told me that from previous times she's interviewed the person, she could tell that I had prepared them.
So awesome. That must feel really good. That's great. So, preparation is key to how you present yourself, the information that you're telling the interviewer, and also what really happens afterwards as well. So, speaking of what happens afterwards, re- so I won't say receiving the job offer, but receiving the call. Because you could receive a call with them saying, sorry, we're not going to pick you. But also, there is that great phone call of receiving the job offer. And what advice can you give someone should they finally get that call?
So I would say if the answer is no, I would reach out and try and see what feedback you can get to improve. I know there's been times where I've applied for jobs and I didn't get a call. It was just a no. And then I reached out for feedback and I didn't get feedback. So that's a little hard because you don't really get a chance to learn where potential for growth might be.
Correct.
But if you do get the good call and it is uh, the yes that you're looking for, something that you need, something that I would suggest, um, is like we said, don't not saying yes immediately. Definitely be appreciative, because that's what you wanted. Like both parties feel like they're winning out of this. Like you got
Right.
the job you wanted, and they found a candidate they want. Um, Getting the offer in writing is huge because then both parties can see what's being told or what's being offered, and then figure out if what is being offered is exactly what you want in terms of your end of it. Um, I think something that I learned a lot from my first job or my previous job is the importance of benefits. I think that's something I never would have learned had I not been in my last company. I always tell people it's probably one of the biggest lessons I learned when choosing a company.
Right.
My benefits weren't bad. I don't want to say that that the company doesn't give you anything. Uh, I just knew that peers who were starting to get jobs out of college had much better benefit packages than I did. And I realized that I was probably on the not so good side of benefits. In terms of PTO and insurance, uh, my mom could tell you this, but I'm not a big insurance user. I don't, I don't go to the doctor or get checked up the way that I should.
I'm
But
still
just,
pushing him to make
but
all of those appointments, but now you got to wait until you start with the new company.
but just knowing that there's companies where you can get free or extremely cheap insurance and equal coverage. Um, it's just money coming in your pocket that you're not using or you are using. So definitely, and then 401k and like further education, those are all really big things that I didn't know were as important until I was already working.
And I think it's also important to look at what kind of internal trainings does the company provide. So one company that I was with when I was a team lead, every single month, our program manager would hold development sessions for all of the team leads. And it would be on something different each month. It could be effective communication. It could be um, like mental health awareness stuff. But every single month, we were growing as leaders. And that could be something that you could ask, like, what type of internal training does the company offer for its employees?
Yeah, and that's another good point. Yeah, how you're going to continue to grow when you're there. And something that took me a lot of opportunities in my last job to learn is when you are negotiating, both people should feel like they're winning. And there was a lot of times where I wouldn't negotiate thinking that I was keeping a better like reputation at work by not negotiating or not negotiating as hard. And then I would leave feeling like I lost. But
Mhm.
that's not how a negotiation should be.
Right.
Um, Both parties should equally be interested in the outcome of the proposal.
Yeah, I agree.
So before accepting, I would try, like I said, you should try your best before saying yes to make sure that you feel like you're protecting yourself and you're winning equally as the company does about getting you as talent.
Right. I agree. Because you are your best advocate is for yourself. So, yeah, that's important. All right. So, the key takeaway here is getting hired isn't the finish line, it's the beginning of your professional reputation. So, for me, after I left active duty military, I started interviewing with contracting companies. So, contracting companies, they hold contracts with the government. And every company that I worked with, I always during the time that I worked at a particular organization or with the company, I always tried to make sure that I was always doing something to improve either the processes there improve the way a team was led. So that way I left with a good professional reputation. So that way, I mean, because contracts with the government, they change often. And it could be very likely that a company that I worked with before could take over the contract where I'm working now. And so to have that good reputation, I think is very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next one, um, you accept the offer, and then the next part that follows is putting in your 2 weeks. And I know that this for me was hard. I was very anxious about this. Um,
Quite understandably, because when you really think about where you work, especially for those who have to go to a facility, go to an office that are not working from home, you're spending a like your whole day with these people. So you become attached to them. They're like your second family. Well, unless they're like the redheaded stepchild and you don't like them, and then you're happy to put in your notice. But you really do grow to really care about the people. So giving a 2 week notice is really, really hard.
I think in some
So,
cases, yeah, because I know some people are leaving their place because they're just over everything. Um, so giving it 2 weeks could be easy for some people. Um, and there's this, I say this kid at work, he's a little older than me, but he's looking to leave, and he keeps asking if he should put in a 2 weeks. And I tell him, even if you're over the company or not over the company, I think putting in a 2 weeks is just good business. I I don't intend on going back to my last company, but I do know that there's a lot of good people that work there. And if they move on and move up to something better and there's an opportunity for me, then I wouldn't want them to be like, oh yeah, he just up and left one day.
right.
Um, so I think giving a 2 week notice is really important. I know a lot of people joke about like, well, your job doesn't give you a 2 week notice when they fire you. But if
That
you have to
means you
worry about
usually
that,
did something really bad. So, you don't deserve a 2 week notice. But
yeah, but if you have to worry about that, then I don't know. But yeah, I think I think you should give a 2 week notice, and it is definitely not easy to do if, um, like my mom said, you do spend a lot of time with these people. Um, I know like my equal at work, the other day shift supervisor, when I told him that I got a job, he was he was devastated. Um, but yeah, giving it can be hard, but knowing and composing why you're doing it when you give it, um, makes it a little bit easier. Because I think that depending on the type of employee you are, it could catch like your management off guard, and they're just gonna have a lot of questions, and you can or can't share them. But I I pretty much knew why I was doing it, and it just had to be done. So
right. Did you provide a written resignation letter or was it a sit down with your manager? And
it
then that
was
was all that was required.
it was written. The thing at our work is it has to be written. So,
Okay.
and
I
I
think
knew that
that's
already.
most places.
So yeah, I knew that HR would have asked for a written one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my written one ready, and then I just told my manager I had bad news, and then I let her read it.
Oh man, the heartbreak. It's hard. It's a like when I was working at my previous place, I really, really liked the team that I was on. I thoroughly enjoyed working with them, but I just didn't like the work. It wasn't very busy, so the days just seemed long. And it was a job satisfaction factor for me on why I put in my notice. And when I told my team I was leaving, like I cried. Like I legit cried because I was so sad to leave them because I really did enjoy going there every single day to see them. So yeah. And when I left, my leadership said, if you ever want to come back, just let us know. So that's that important factor of having that great professional rep why am I drawing a blank? Reputation. So actually that was the second time that I had worked with that company because I worked with them in 2019 when I first moved here. I took a break from the government for a year or a little bit over a year. And then I was ready to go back to work for the government and they welcomed me back and they were excited to have me back. And they were like, well, if you're ready to, if you ever want to come back, just let us know. So, and it feels good knowing that they also enjoyed working with you as well and that you're welcome back anytime if things don't work out where you think the grass is greener. So now that we have kind of talked about the formalities and your advice, which I think Damonte gives great advice. I really like
Thanks.
listening to his perspective on things. So tell us a little bit about your personal experience. Walk us through your interview, how you accepted your new opportunity, and because there was something that was unexpected when you did give your notice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So walk us through that and how you handled it.
So I don't know if this is typical, but I know that at least to me, it felt like this process has been long. Um, my first day of work is August 7th, and I knew I was offered the position like June 20th. So it's been over a month, like during
Well,
this.
well, we did have 4th of July holiday. Damonte did go on a cruise and a vacation. And then you had other things that you had to do as well. Like they had to do a
Yeah.
background check, all of that. So
Yeah.
it does take
Um, so yeah, it took a little bit of time. Um, and like we were talking about previously, like negotiating, we negotiated for a couple of days before we were both settled on something. And then I I knew that it was pretty set in stone. And then I was gone um last week. So I was gone for a week and then that delayed my start date by 2 weeks just for like payroll period sake. And then I turned my notice in and then um I had a talk with my director and he was planning on offering me a new position already um at my previous company. So it was I don't want to say the timing was bad. I don't know if I don't know if I can use that as a cop out, but it definitely threw a variable into if I was going to stay accepting my position or stay accepting my new role or reconsider considering I got offered something else at my current place. So that was definitely like a curveball that I didn't expect. And then that that might be something normal that people experience. I just know that based on the history of my company, people typically don't get counter offered to stay. But some places do. So I guess that would be advice I would give people is don't anticipate a counter, but it could be on the table. Um, so yeah, I was countered to stay at my job and I didn't think about it. I declined it. I was pretty set on on taking my new position. I think it's a really good opportunity to grow and it's more aligned with like the work life balance that I'm looking for. Um, so yeah, that was hard knowing that my company saw more in me, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel that way. Um, so it was nice to be considered for that. And like I said before, like the same thing with like a new job. Like I was definitely appreciative of being considered for it. Um, My conversation with my manager was hard. She was very in shock.
Now,
But
have you told your team of people that you manage?
I've told some of them, I've told like my direct reports. So my direct reports know right now, and they they took it well and not well. There are a lot of my direct re- some of my direct reports who are like eager to grow, similar to me, are taking it hard because they like the way that I lead them. And then the rest of my leads are like good for you. Like if you feel like it's a good opportunity, then like you should definitely take it. Um, but yeah, like my mom said, like same thing. Like you see these people all the time. So like I had one direct report, and like I told her Friday, and we were both bawling our eyes out. Um, and she was like, I can't do this. Cause she struggled when I was off a week for PTO. So she was like, there's no way.
Oh,
Um, but it's a good sign. It's nice to know that I'm like
right.
making an impact.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing your personal experience. I think that allows the viewers and the listeners to gain a little bit of insight on how you navigated the process and um yeah, how important it is to have those relationships with your manager, and if you're in a leadership position, the people that you lead. And it does come to a time where they can be happy for you but also sad because they're losing someone great.
Yeah. And I think if I could give another piece of advice for people who are leaving or mention to their management that they're going to leave, sometimes a counteroffer might come with more money, but I think it takes like self-reflection to realize if money is going to, if money was actually the issue. For me, money was not the issue. Um, I even talked with someone on our HR team about my decision, and they even said like an extra 20K probably won't change your attitude about staying or not, which is true. Like,
Right. And I agree. I think if you're chasing money, then the enjoyment of something new isn't going to last very long. Because every single job that I had taken after I retired from the military, I wasn't chasing money. I didn't change jobs because I was trying to get a higher pay. It was all about job satisfaction and seeing the impact that my work was making. That was what was important to me the most. All right. So, do you find yourself repeating any advice when mentoring individuals with career transitions or growth to grow into a different role?
career transitions, no. There there hasn't been. I've only had one direct report change roles, and it was internal. I haven't had any direct reports grow out of a company um, in the year that I've been leading them. But the one that the one that grew into a different position internally, I a lot of what I would repeat to him a lot is like capitalizing on interactions with people above you and
Uh-huh.
like the perception they have. Because that was something that I struggled with a lot, was like perception. And I feel like we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
Um, but perception really is everything.
it
And
is.
and he's one of the ones where he's a little hurt that I'm leaving because people won't be able to keep continuing to coach him through, through
Oh,
like the little things
okay.
like this. But yeah, he's a really good employee, and I would explain to him how what could be someone in leadership just walking by, like taking the time to speak to them and being a familiar face,
Right.
a memorable name, and then like just this past week, uh, it sounds like a silly example, but I think you never know. Uh, there was this Teams chat with a bunch of like leaders in it, and someone asked for something, and he said he would do it, and he just sent like a couple emojis behind, like, yeah, I'll do it, and I'm like, dude, you can't do that. I'm like people send like gifs and memes in the chat, but I'm like, dude, I'm like, don't let that person be you. Like, like I was like, I just don't want you to come off as being sarcastic about wanting to do something.
My friend sent an eggplant emoji in a work chat one time. She has not lived it down either. So be
Exactly.
careful what chat you're sending an emoji in.
Exactly. And I was like, I teams him on the side. I was like, dude, you need to edit that or delete it.
You're so mature. I would have. Oh, that's funny.
And then later on in the day, he came up to me. He was like, dude, no one's gonna tell me this, like, if you're not here.
No one's going to keep me. How old is he?
34.
how, how is he having like a younger person keep him in line when he should be, someone
That's
you look up to?
that's everyone at work though.
That's funny.
But he's just not like. There's just a lot of people on my team who aren't like corporate trained. Like,
I don't even think I'm corporate trained. Oh my gosh.
yeah, like Teams etiquette and email etiquette and meeting etiquette. Like, there's not a lot of people. Like, it's a production floor.
I'd be like, per my last email. That's how I just read it.
But yeah, that's something that I find myself repeating a lot, and
Okay.
being coachable. That's a big one. A lot of people think they're right. Another
Yeah.
one that's hard for me to do. Um, sometimes you just have to do it. Like me and the other day shift supervisor, we say it differently. We have this joke, and it's called just putting the fries in the bag.
What does
Like,
that mean?
like if you have to do a task that you think is stupid, but like your boss wants it of you, sometimes you just have to put the fries in the bag. Like the customer might be screaming at you or asking for something crazy, but you just have to put the fries in the bag at the end of the day.
Okay.
So like sometimes you do have to do things that you don't want to do, like, and you just have to put the fries in the bag.
Nice.
Other advice that I find myself repeating is like looking at who's like equal to you and seeing what they're doing and doing things different. Like not doing things different, like in a bad way, but doing impactful things for like other teams or like for your manager. Not like brown nosing, but like I feel like my direct reports could stand out easily. And some
That's
do.
good.
Some do stand out. Like
In a good way, right?
in a good way, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if there's issues, they're asking the engineers like, "Hey, why do we do it this way?" Or like, "Hey, come look at this." Like taking the initiative to like spark ideas with other teams.
Nice.
So like that's big at my work, but at other places, like, yeah, everyone should be doing that. So, and then like thanking them for like taking the time to help them.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. All right. So we're going to do some quick career tips, a little lightning round. I'm going to ask Damonte some questions, and he's going to give one sentence answers to what I say or to what I ask. All right. Biggest interview mistake.
Not preparing.
All right. Best interview question to ask.
What makes their highest performer their highest performer?
I love that. All right. How long should a resignation meeting last?
10 minutes max.
Email or in person?
Email. Oh, no, sorry, in person.
Okay. Counter offer, yes or no?
Yes, you should always consider a counter. You should never turn down the idea of a counter. Not having options is not good.
I like that. First day advice.
Try and remember everyone's name.
Ooh, that's so tough. That is my biggest faux pas or like bad trait of mine. I cannot remember names.
That's what everyone says, but
Oh,
I think if you remember everyone's name, um, it you ask questions sooner because you're so worried about their name. But if you can
right.
remember everyone's name, because they might not remember yours, but if you remember theirs, then it makes them feel better.
Oh, I love that. And then biggest career lesson.
You don't have to. I don't know. I don't know if I have biggest. I just started my career. I don't know if I have biggest career lesson.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I feel like you've gone through quite a bit of learning in this first job that you've had at a college.
my biggest career lesson so far.
I think you've had a lot of changes, like different positions, maybe just being open to change,
Yeah, I guess I would
being
say
flexible.
that's probably what helped me stand out to like my leadership change is they knew I was up for anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, yeah, just be open to challenges.
yeah, and I know I struggle with doing the same thing all the time. So like
Hmm.
that plays into my benefit, like being open to anything, because then I learn like when I'm learning something new, then it's like something fresh and it's not like the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Like I think it's still hard for me to like wrap my head around people who stay at a company for like 5+ years, like doing the same thing. So
Right.
yeah, being open to learn and like being a student.
Nice. Love it. All right. So, some final encouragement for our viewers and listeners. What would you say to the young person who's scared to make a career move?
If you are thinking about making a career move, then you probably have your mind already made up that it's something you should do. I think for me, the hardest part was like leaving my first job. I knew before I started working that I always told myself that I I wouldn't be very strong on like company loyalty because at the end of the day, it's my career, not the company's career. Um, and it was still, I think what was hard for me was the people not leaving the company. So I would say that like you you owe your company good business, but you don't owe your company your life or your career.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know. I almost want to say like it's about location, but I guess it's not because I'm still in Utah for this job. um, but at some point, I do plan on like going back to the East Coast. So that's like a part of it too. Like if you want to go somewhere or like live somewhere new, I think trying to find a career move that'll cater to what you want in your life and in your career, those go hand in hand. So if you're
Right.
working a job you don't like in the middle of Nebraska, but you're dying to be in Seattle, like everything that you want is already like right there.
I agree.
Um, and I think something for me is it was funny when I was telling one of my leads Friday, she asked me like if I've been applying for a long time. And I told her honestly, I don't even remember when I applied for that job. Like, I don't even remember when I applied for the Boeing job. It was so long ago. And then they called me saying I had an interview. But I think you and I, or me and someone are talking about it, but you never know if you don't apply.
Right.
Um, like I would apply in like spurts, um, for the past 6 months. And it's like I would get good news or I wouldn't get good news. And then, so yeah, it's like you never know. So if you want to make a career move, I just say take a weekend or two to apply to jobs that are interesting and you gain nothing from it. Uh, someone at my last job told me this um, throughout like my counteroffer stage, but the person who's willing to walk away from a negotiation has the most power. So if you're interviewing and you're getting good interview advice or good career advice from these interviews, then you're really the one gaining,
Mhm.
even if you don't get the position. Like, you still get something out of it, as
Right.
opposed to staying somewhere that you don't like.
Yeah, I agree. Great advice.
Thanks.
All right. So, in closing, so I think some of the biggest lessons and the biggest takeaways of this episode is prepare well for that interview. Go in with confidence, accept opportunities thoughtfully, leave every job professionally, and build a reputation, build a reputation that you can be proud of. Ooh, I have a hard time with that word. So we really hope that our listeners and viewers have gained some knowledge and have really enjoyed this episode. And hopefully it gives you a little bit more confidence to put yourself out there and prepare well for your next interview, or it may give you a little spark and encouragement to try a new career move. So,
Quit that job. No, I'm joking.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, so just invite other listeners to this episode. Share it with students, a recent graduate, or anyone preparing for a career transition.
Yeah, I know that this college semester just ended. But yeah, PTO is huge.
It
Don't
is.
don't take 4 weeks or less of PTO on an offer.
Yes.
401k match is huge. Shoot for like a 5% match or better. Health insurance, I don't know like the ins and outs still, but I know that if they say it's good, I would ask what that means. And then yeah, obviously salary. Whatever you think is a good salary, you should take and try and ask for more.
Yes. You
If
know
you don't
your own worth.
if you don't ask, you'll never get.
Agree. Great advice, Damonte. Thank you for literally heading up this whole episode. So I appreciate you doing all of the talking and allowing me to be the interviewer, I guess. All right. So,
Yeah,
you want
thank
to
you guys
close?
for listening.
All right. So, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all on episode 22. All right. Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. Cheers. Oh, no, I should say, and that's a wrap as well, huh? Okay, we'll do that again.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's
Cheers.
And that's a wrap.